What's going on, everyone? Welcome to another edition of 27 and Q alongside that man getting all set up, the dapper one, two-time Super Bowl champ from the New York Football Giants, number 27, Brandon Jacobs. I'm Rich Quinones. Hope everyone had a good sports week and a lot of NFL to dive into, mixing a little boxing, a little abbreviated version of 27 and Q. Tonight, we'll hit it hard on Wednesday like we typically do midweek. And it's almost as though the cleaning up process, big man. I mean, I know you played a long time in the NFL, and I know there were some bad losses that the Giants have sustained. But freaking Sunday, if you notice, where was I Sunday? It was radio silence. You didn't get one friggin' text from me. You know why?
I mean, it was silent. It was silence. Like you could hear a rat piss on cotton. It was so quiet.
Because I was just at the point where I couldn't even watch it anymore. Like they were so outclassed, outworked, out hustled, outmanned. And the Eagles, and I know they were running it up, even with second and third stringers out there. But guess what? That's how bad it was. If you're the Giants, try to stop them. Like they got their asses kicked on Sunday. I don't care that you lose the game. They, for the first time this year, looked like they were not prepared to go out there and fight and compete. And that's what bothered me the most.
Yeah, I mean, they look, man. I started off watching the game when Philly jumped up on them, and I was like, yeah, the air's out of the balloon already. It's gonna get ugly. I saw it. I don't know if I could say they look like they didn't have any fight in them, because I know they probably came out with opportunity. Everybody come out and start the game with opportunity to win. I was hoping we would be the team to knock them off. You know, a division game.
Yeah.
You know, a rivalry. It just didn't look. I mean, it just didn't look like it meant anything. If that makes sense.
Yeah, no, listen, and that's the problem I have with it. I mean, when you go back and you watch that game, you know me, I watched the game several times. I went back and I watched it, and at 7-0, even when the Eagles actually got up 14-0, there's a play where Julian Love can make a play on the ball on that fourth down play. And actually it was when they were up 7-0, it was a fourth down play where it reminded me of that play Minnesota and the Saints a couple of years ago in the playoffs, where you blow up the wide receiver, whether you're fearful of getting the flag, worst case scenario, you prevent the touchdown, you knock the ball loose, change of possession. They go up 14-0, 21-0. The Giants come back 21-7. But you just saw that the offensive line was getting banged up. And I've been going back and forth with people on social media about the whole Daniel Jones and Saquan. And I don't care who you had back there, man. Against that,
you gotta block, man. You gotta be able to protect.
But people don't want to hear that. They want the quarterback to go out there with, and let me throw out these names, and you tell me if they instill any fears in secondaries. Isaiah Hodgins, Daniel Bellinger, Richie James, Darius Slayton, Nick Vannett, Breida coming out of backfield. This is the hand they've been dealt. And
yeah, I mean, it's not their fault. It's just what it is, But here's the thing: when you make piss poor decisions, as far as organization is concerned, by bringing in the Kenny Golladay and paying him that much money, it leaves you with those guys to go out and fight for you. Now, I respect every man that's out there in the NFL that's suiting up every Sunday, and they're suiting up every day during the week for practice and going out there, putting their life on the line for another individual. I respect those guys you name, but let's be frank. At the end of the day, those guys don't put a piece of fear in any defense heart. It's just the way it is. They don't have anybody to scare anybody. So that's just when you make one bad decision by giving a guy like Golladay all of that money he got. I wish I could have got that much money when I was playing with the Giants, but I wasn't worth it. I wasn't worth it, so I didn't get it. That's good management. That's good management, and we still won with it, So when you make piss poor decisions like that, it puts you in a bind for years to come. We can't get rid of Kenny Golladay for another year, maybe.
They overpaid.
Next year we got to do the same shit.
Yeah, the money, that contract was based on his production in Detroit, right? And I asked you this before. Am I paying you for what you did, or am I paying you for what I believe you're going to do down the road? He hasn't even sniffed the end zone. He's been inactive. He's dealt with injuries. They trade Tony. You lose Robinson. You lose Shepard. And to these guys' credit, they've stepped up. But again, when the pocket's collapsing, and even when he makes a throw, even 2 weeks ago against Washington, you got to catch the football, Slayton.
Yeah,
Nice
yeah.
player. Richie James, okay, serviceable guys. You see the secondaries getting torched. You realize they don't have a pass rush. It just, I don't know, man. It's a divisional game. Like, you can't
You
go
gotta
out.
have some fire. You gotta have some fire in you when you playing in the division, especially when you got a team like the Eagles who's hot. We're gonna knock you. We gonna knock your asses off that pedestal. We're gonna knock y'all off that shit right now.
It
That's
was
the
the other
way you
way
got to go
around.
into
It was the other way around. They put up 48. They were
it. Yeah,
toying. They were toying with the Giants during that game. That's why you
and
watch.
Daniel Jones 18 for 27 with 69 yards and a touchdown. Rushing was, I mean, you got Tyrod Taylor
Yeah, 2 carries, 40
40
yards.
yards,
Yep.
Saquon with 28 yards, Daniel Jones with 26 yards. I mean, you have Brightwell with 23, uh, Breeder with 6. I mean, it was just, I
Yeah,
mean,
you take away the
it's
40 from Taylor, they don't rush. And really think about it. And Jones, you're talking two quarterbacks rush for 70 yards. Other than that, they didn't do anything. And then conversely, look what the Eagles did on the ground. 263. 263. That's 2007, 2011 Giants.
yeah.
Those types of numbers, right? When you're running the football first and foremost, everything opens up. Hurts, I have no problem sitting here saying right now that Hurts is the MVP of the league. I've absolutely no issue with the way this kid has performed, and they've got, he's put up monster numbers. B. Jalen Hurts has put up ridiculous numbers this year, and I know people are going to watch this and say, "What about Patrick Mahomes?" I get it. That's recency bias. We all know what Patty Mahomes does, and Burrow for Cincinnati. I understand all that, but Hurts is just—he's basically said to this team, "This is my team. Get on my back." His legs, his arm, his guts, his gumption, the way he's reading defenses and playing. He's a gamer. This is a 12-1 ball club right now.
And they got a quarterback, well, shit, 21 for 31 for 217 and 2 touchdowns. Sanders for what, 144 yards
44.
rushing.
Yeah.
Jalen Hurts 77 yards with rushing. Shit, that's over 200 yards rushing.
Yeah. Boston Scott has made a career now against the Giants. I think 9 touchdowns in 16 games. I mean, so listen, the Giants, great story. It's 6-1, 7-2, the injuries, but now, the hens are coming home the roost, so to speak. Like, you're starting to see that this is who they are. You got to beat Washington come Sunday night. And I know it's going to happen. People are going to sit there and say it's going to be a referendum on Daniel Jones's career. If he goes out 20-25 for 245 and 2 touchdowns and they win the game, sign him. If he goes out 18 of 36 for a $169, 2 fumbles and a pick, get rid of this guy. I mean, it's like friggin', I can't, after a while, it's like, enough of this shit. Like, seriously, like, let it play out.
Yeah, let it play out. Let it take care of itself, right?
They don't want to do it.
I wish the Giants the best though, because that's my squad. They pay the bills. They pay the bills.
Yeah.
Will pay the bills. Put me in a position to meet resources that pay more bills. So I'm always forever being indebted for the Giants, to the Giants. But the truth is the truth, Rich. The Giants stink. We don't have any big time playmakers outside of Saquon Barkley. Our defense had, early on in the season, played well, played great defense. Now there haven't been many defenses that have been able to contain the Philadelphia offense. It hasn't been, and we see it in numbers every week. But obviously, we got to get better in some areas through free agency and the draft this upcoming offseason. We gotta get a playmaking wide receiver in there. I'm not going to say much about the offensive line because I think our 2 tackles are really good, and I think they're among the best in the league. I do believe that, but I do believe that we do need to make something has to happen on that football team like offensively to be able to get, just give us a chance at the playoffs.
So Neal's had his moments. Thomas has been very good. Neal's had his moments, but even Thomas has given up a sack or two, which almost shows that he's human. When you say they stink, is it also because they're void of talent? I mean, that is, you can't dispute that. That is a fact, whether trades, free agency, bad draft picks, or injuries, that secondary is void of talent, right? We talked a month ago. Oh, Landon Collins, here you go. Little veteran leadership, can't even sniff the field because he's probably not getting something down in practice, or they just don't believe he can play anymore. See, that's the whole Beckham thing, go after these guys, bring them back. You have no idea what they're going to give you. You have no idea where they're at this stage of their career. So I look at their secondary, I look at some of the injuries, and I look at the fact that they don't have a player to stretch the field.
That's
And
it. I think that's our only problem, though, Rich. I mean, I'm gonna be honest. I think that's, and I say when I say they stink, I don't necessarily mean like. I think offensively we stink because we don't have that person to stretch the field. It's
is it play
Saquon Barkley.
calling or personnel or both?
I wouldn't say play calling because everything you call is supposed to work. Remember, everybody got a responsibility. Football is the biggest one-on-one, the biggest individual team sport you can find. Everybody has a role that they must play on each play. Every player is called to score a touchdown. Every player is designed to score a touchdown. Every play is designed to score a touchdown. So it does not matter what the offensive coordinator is calling. It's designed to score a touchdown. Do your fucking job and give us a chance to win the game. Now, the Giants offense stink because we don't have a person that can stretch the field. We don't have that big time playmaker wide receiver. Once we get that, along with Saquon Barkley, and I even take Daniel Jones for another year or two. I even take Daniel for another year or two. You know why? Because he showed that he can make a play. He shows he's tough as nails. He can take a beat and he's going to stay. He's going to get up every time. He's going to keep delivering the ball. He's going to keep running for yards. He's going to keep doing his thing to make sure we win, right? I would take that guy, right? Get him a downfield threat,
Right.
and I think the Giants could be okay.
So one more thing on that. When you say everyone's got to do their job, what can I really expect practice squad guys who are elevated to the roster? I'm sorry, I can't expect these guys to get separation. I can't expect these guys to beat someone over the top. I understand what you're saying and I respect it, but to some extent I disagree because the Richie Jameses, the Slayton to some extent, the Hodges, the Sill, these are guys that they're not going to instill fear in, against secondaries like the Philadelphia Eagles, Dallas. It's just, there's no threat. So if there's no threat of a passing attack, I can sit there and stack the box and then say Daniel Jones try to beat me. And that's not going to happen. I mean, I understand exactly what you're saying and I get it. And the other thing that's so evident that no one's talking about, Saquon is hurt, man.
He is. He's banged up.
He is not
He got shoulder. He got all kinds of shit wrong with him.
And I'm telling you, it's from after that game, they ran him into the ground against the Houston Texans. He had 30-something odd carries for $152 against that 31st ranked Detroit Lions run defense. He didn't do squat. He didn't do anything against Washington. He didn't do anything against the Eagles. And I understand why they pulled him. You're going to rest him for Sunday night, but it opens up the question now. What do you do in the offseason?
You got two guys to pay with not enough money to pay one, probably. You got a lot. So what do we do? Here's the question.
Yeah.
Now, give me a solution for the Galladay situation. Give me a solution that would get us from being held hostage by this guy. What do we do? Do we cut him and just say screw the money, you can take it, or do we look for somebody to take him, or do we talk to him about a pay cut? Like, what do we do?
So he signed a 4-year contract that was $72 million. Okay, his signing bonus was $17 million. The average salary is $18. The total guarantee is $40. He'll be a free agent in 2025.
They can't let him walk away with all of that. They gotta only the first 2 years of your contract should be guaranteed. That's how my deal was structured. Now I'm not sure if his is structured like that or what, but 4 years, man,
You're talking about, if you cut these guys, right? So if the Giants were to cut him per over the cap, the Giants are set to have almost 60 million in cap space in 2023. Okay. But now keep in mind, quarterback, running back. Okay. Daniel
I
Jones.
don't leave anything from anybody else.
Well, and let's also forget Julian Love. So Daniel Jones, Saquon Barkley, Julian Love, Jihad Ward, all set to become free agents. Dexter Lawrence, Sexy Dexy, you're going to have to pay him. He's in line for a big payday. So that space that we're talking about, 59 million, that's going to evaporate.
Already gone.
Bingo. Thank you very much. So what do I have to do now? I got to add as much cap space as possible, and I got to get rid of friggin' bad contracts. So if they cut Kenny Golladay, basically he's got a cap hit in 2023 of 21.4 million. If the Giants release him before June 1st, that would free up 6.7 million, while 14.7 million of the cap hit would go to waste. So that would put their cap space over 65 million.
They got to pay him that, right? They got to pay him that.
Yeah. So the good thing with pre-June 1st transaction that comes in 2024, he's completely off the books. So do you, again, have a come to Jesus moment with him and run it back one more year with him?
Cut him. I say cut him because at least you free up some cash. But if you don't cut him, you don't free up any cash at all.
It's just you have to go that route. At any rate, you're going to save almost 7 million.
Right,
and
right.
It hasn't panned out. The Tony draft pick hasn't panned out. Some moves just don't pan out. But I think there was this thought where 6-1, 7-2, hey, you win 3 more and you're in the playoffs. And now you're starting to see who they really are, which I think only adds value, as crazy as it sounds, to Daniel Jones and what he's been able to do
without this. Yeah.
And people don't want to talk about that. They want 20 of 25 for 268 and 3 touchdowns. And we've been doing this long enough where I'm not the biggest Jones fan, but he has tangibles that have won me over. You mentioned it, the toughness. He's cut down the turnovers. He can run, he can scramble. He's athletic. He throws a nice ball when given time. There were multiple games this year where his legs won them the game in essence. And, people just want those staggering numbers. And you said it a month ago, it's not who this offense is. And maybe if they had threats down the field, maybe that's the case.
Well, excuse me, I'm sick as hell, Rich.
A warrior, man. Yeah, we're both battling through. This is what we do.
This is what we do. We battle through, and we try to talk about other people that's battling through. That's what we doing at this Giants, battling through, baby.
I know. As soon as we're done, I know it's either hot toddy or spicy margarita. No hookie tonight.
Something like that, man. Something got to open my ass up, man. Something got to open me up.
You go a little Vicks. You go a little Vicks. Put a little Vicks.
Throw a little Vicks on the chest and on the bottom of the feet, like they say. I tried to put Vicks on my nose once, man, and they got in my eye. I was done with it. But yeah, I keep Daniel, work on that another year. I'll cut Golladay. And if you want to keep Saquon, at least you got to franchise him. You won't have enough money to give him a deal.
So I think they should give Brightwell some more carries. What about the concern that he's not a back that's going to be able to give you 330 carries a year, which if you really break it down is 20 touches a game.
Mm.
If that's not who he is.
No.
But now again, please, if I'm sounding ignorant or over the line with this, let me know.
Man,
is 20 are you asking? Are you really telling me that you're asking him to carry the football 320 times is too much?
Saquon,
Yeah,
yeah, that's too much for any running back to carry the ball.
20 times a game.
I mean,
I
football
asked
is,
you when you played, what's the most carries you had in a season in your career?
I don't know. I have like two, maybe 215, maybe 215.
Okay. Would you consider yourself at the point in your career where you were an everyday back?
Maybe my fourth, fifth, and sixth year.
Okay,
I could
so
probably be every down back, which is probably a lot of these guys, the way they bring in most of their stats around in those years. I felt like I could have done it then, but I didn't have to. I had Tiki, I had Derek, and I had Ahmad.
you had him on 224 was your most in 2009.
Well, 224, there it is. 300 times, getting banged up when you're the only individual component on your offense that can make a play 300 times under those circumstances is a lot. You're gonna get beat up.
So then how do you
Now,
just,
300 times, if you got two guys on the outside that's stretching the field, you got a good, you know what I'm saying? If you got it like that, then 300 times can't be as bad, because you probably won't get beat up as much. But with no deep threat and
well,
300 twos, that's a problem.
we're going on, yeah, we're going on the premise that obviously, I just pulled up his stats. And this is since the Houston game. He carried the ball 35 times for $152, and he averaged about 4.5 a carry. Detroit, 15 carries for 22 yards. Dallas, 11 carries for 39 yards. Washington, 18 carries for 63. And then the Eagles, 9 carries for 28 yards.
Ooh.
He's carried the ball 251 times. So if they have what? Washington left, the Eagles left, Minnesota, Indianapolis. They got 4 games, 7-5-1, right? 4 games left.
He's definitely going up over 300 this year. He's going over 300 this year.
I was going to say 20 more. You're going to have to run it. And again, I know people don't want to hear this, but you're going to have to run him into the ground. You're going to have to give him the football Sunday night early and often. You're going to have to do that. You're going to have to do it against Minnesota. You're going to have to do it against Indianapolis. And then maybe the Eagles have everything wrapped up by week 17. And I hate to say you're hoping that's the case. And maybe you get a little charity and they rest their starters. You don't want to depend on that, but your next game is Sunday night. And you're
They're
going to
definitely going to rest their starters. They got nothing else to prove. They're going to win the division, obviously.
Well, still got Dallas. Hold on a second. If the Eagles trip up and lose to Chicago and Dallas beats Jacksonville, Dallas is a game out, which sets up an interesting scenario for Christmas between the Eagles and Dallas. But the chances of that happening, I get it, are slim. But you don't want, this, you don't want to depend on another team.
No, you want to take care of business yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. It's going to be very interesting to see what they do in the offseason because I think they have the head coach. I think they have the right GM.
I think they're good. I just think we need a threat. And everybody keeps talking about Odell. I mean, every time somebody says something about Odell, I see him spending time with Dez Bryant and Dirk Nowitzki and all them cats in Dallas. So I just want the man to go somewhere where he can be appreciated and win some games. If that's the Giants, then it's the Giants. But wherever it is, he had a point in his career where he's all about winning.
Yeah, and he's not playing this year. There's no guarantee that he would be ready to play.
Oh yeah, I forgot about Jerry Jones putting his injury status out or saying
we talked about that last week.
Yeah, you're right.
What I know we got a couple minutes and we'll hit it a little harder tomorrow, but what'd you think? So Kyler Murray tore his ACL last night, non-contact, which is horrible. Arizona's just having a dismal. I mean, they can't friggin' win at home. I think they're 2-12 in their last 14. So obviously, if you think about it, we're already in December. That kid's not going to be ready by the start of the season. They gave him a ridiculous contract. Man, I would not. I would not want to try to figure that out to see what they're going to do. I mean, I guess
He won't be ready. He won't be ready for when?
if he tore his ACL, you think he'll be ready by September?
Absolutely, he will be. Yeah. Hey, they got some shit out there these boys are taking, man. There's some shit out there that they're taking. It pull those ligaments and tendons back fast.
That's so you all right. You get that surgery. How long is rehab?
You say how long is rehab? So let's say you get surgery. Let's say Thursday, because they're normally wait for the swelling to go down.
Yeah.
Let's say Thursday. He's off of it for 6 weeks.
Okay.
On crutches for 6 weeks, or whatever that is, for 6 weeks. So that put us, let's just say 6 weeks from now, that put us mid-January.
Yeah.
Like mid-January. Let's just say February for shits and giggles.
Okay.
Right. So he starts reading. He got February, March, April. But yeah, February, March, April, May, June, July. That's 6 months. That's 6 months of rehab.
Right.
Of strengthening. He's gonna be ready to go. And it's not like he's this big. It's not like he's this big, heavy guy.
No.
So that's just the July. That's 6 months. I think he'll be ready to go.
Yeah. Well, we talked about this before when AP came off his injury.
Right. Came out, rushed for 2,000 yards. Everybody was like, well, they taking some shit out there, man. I'm telling you, some shit out there that works.
When you say they're taking shit out there, are we talking the natural kind of shit? Are we
talking
some natural
shit?
Are we talking
the
back of a Cadillac kind of shit?
Listen, it's nothing illegal. Don't get me wrong. I don't want to say that and make I don't want to take credit away from their fast healing. However, but it's something out there that they some kind of grass they're chewing on and mixing up and making it work. There's some natural shit that no one knows of, and it costs a whole bunch of money.
Oh, I mean, it's like a fountain. You sure it's not like an avocado plant or something like that?
I don't know, but I wish I had it.
You got a stuffy nose. Nothing with a little Vicks can't take care of that.
No, a little Vicks though, man.
A little Vicks, a little hot toddy. Put the big bear to bed in a little bit. You'll be good.
I'm talking about some shit that's gonna cure ACL in 6 months, man. I think he'll be ready to go though, Rich. I think he'll be ready to go. He's put up with a lot. Even after getting his deal, he put up with stuff from the Cardinals about studying and basically calling them out, he's saying he's irresponsible as an athlete, as a professional athlete, and he don't have enough responsibility to dedicate his time to getting better. He played video games and all that shit. There was a whole bunch of shit they were talking about. So
he's put up some good numbers in his career. I mean, I still think he's 24, 25. I can see him, if he does come back, maybe play a year or two, get tired of losing in Arizona, then plays baseball.
I see that too. I see one more year of football, and I see if Arizona struggle, well, you got this year and then you got next year. So I'll probably see him 2 more years so he can get all of his guaranteed money. And I see him jumping ship, leaving the Cardinals after the next 2 years and going to play baseball.
All right. I know we'll touch on this a little more tomorrow, but did you watch the Teofimo Lopez fight?
I did. I went back and I watched it when you asked me. I didn't watch it on the night of the fight. I kind of just watched it.
Okay.
Right before we came on. And I mean, let's be honest though, Rich. I mean, Teo only fought one fighter. One. And that was Lomachenko. But with that being said, Rich, what do we like Lomachenko is the biggest tomato can picker in the world.
Yeah.
Right. So who really has Lomachenko fought to make him great?
Yeah. Well, I mean, Lopez fought Kambosos.
Okay.
Right. I scored the fight 95-94 for Martin. And we'll talk a little
You
more
said
about
94. You said for Martinez?
for Martin. Yeah, Sandor Martin. Yeah, 95-94.
Huh.
I didn't have Tio. If you're asking me, pardon me, if I had Teofimo winning the fight, my answer is no. I didn't.
Huh.
I thought he fought reckless, and I thought it played right into Sanders' hands. And I think, and I want to talk more about this tomorrow. I think the most alarming thing was, you know, you watch enough fights. I've called enough fights. You've been around the fight game. I've been around the fight game. When a fighter's leaning up against the ropes, waiting for the decision, and you see him mouth the words, and to paraphrase, "Hey, do I still have it?" That's not a good thing. That's
Yeah,
never.
no, it's not a good thing. And once you start doubting yourself like that in boxing, I think it's time to stop because it's a dangerous sport. It's a really dangerous sport. And if you're doubting yourself every time you step in there, like, do you still have it? It can cause for some really damage, some damage to be done to you.
Yeah.
I thought he took some shots against Martinez. I thought that fight was a draw. I thought the fight was a draw through through 10 rounds. But you know what, Rich? I will say this though. I will say this. That fight might have been one of the most entertaining fights I've seen over the last couple of years.
Really?
Yes, it was very entertaining. They both was landing shots. Now, either one of them was afraid of one another. They was in the paint, like using skill and landing punches, not just sitting there forehead to forehead, one foot in the tire, going in at it like that. They was using skill. They was countering one another. They was landing some hard shots. It was pretty entertaining.
Do you give any credence to the fact that that was the second fight at 140 for Lopez? Because he fought Lomachenko 135.
Nah, a lot of that doesn't matter, man. A lot of that doesn't matter. He's still fighting the same guys. Did Martinez just move up to 142?
I think he's going to have a problem with guys that move their head and they're slick and slick and move the stick and move kind of style. And that's what Sandor was. But like I said, I want to dive more into the whole, do I still have it kind of comments? Like, because to me, I think he's got to change his methods with his trainer, management team / father. Like, it's just, it seems like it's not working. And I don't know, maybe he's just mentally, that hunger's not there anymore. We're not in the mind, but those are alarming comments, man. I just, like you said, when a fighter starts to doubt yourself, that's when you don't belong in the ring, right?
Yeah, no, you don't belong in the ring if you're ever doubting yourself. You don't belong on any competitive combat in any combat sport if you're doubting yourself. And that goes for football as well. Like, if you're out there and you don't know if you got it, don't take your ass out there because it could be ugly.
Yeah, like it was Sunday for the Giants. All right. Go. It was listen, I was so friggin' depressed that I had to watch the 2011 playoff game against the Packers to cheer me up.
Really? You were that down and out?
Well, my allergies were killing me. I was a little drained from Saturday night. I was pissed that my phone was blowing up from, I was getting trolled by many of Eagle fans that I know and friends that are Eagles fans. And then, the 48 points didn't stick well with me. And I said, you know what? Little hot toddy, hot shower, get under a blanket. Let me watch 2011. Let me watch Ahmad do his thing and Victor and Akeem and Mario. Let me watch the big man score late in the game because, hey, if he's got an opportunity to score a touchdown, as we know, he ain't going down. He's scoring.
I'm scoring. Play defense. That's what you get paid for. I get paid to score a touchdown, and you get paid to play defense. Play defense by all means necessary, buddy. Because I'm not gonna. Ahmad kind of hesitated a little bit. Like, no, I'm not. Let me do it.
Yeah, so I went back and that cheered me up a little bit. And then I went to watch a little on demand on Netflix and I'm okay.
That's what it is, man.
It takes me a day or two to just, get my wits about me. So, all right, we'll dive into a lot more boxing tomorrow. And you know what? Tomorrow too, we got to get back into this. I want to talk to you about the Hall of Fame.
Okay.
The NFL Hall of Fame. I want to get into that because again, I saw you once again on Twitter with your Deion's the greatest of all time.
Deion is the greatest football player of all time, man. I'm never going to say anything else. Lawrence Taylor, it's him and Lawrence Taylor. You put him one, you put him two. it don't matter what you do. Lawrence Taylor was the most deadliest. He's worse than Lawrence Taylor was another Tyrannosaurus Rex. He was a deadly guy when it comes to football. Like he deadly, like however you want to put it, right?
Yeah.
But Deion Sanders is a guy who done a bunch of different things, man. So
we're gonna
that's 1A, 1B.
Okay.
Whatever however you want to call it. Those are the two best football players ever.
Throw the Vicks on, hot toddy, hookah, whatever you need to do, get yourself mentally prepared for tomorrow.
I got you. I'll be straight.
All right, it's a short edition, but we got in what we had to, and I know we're fighting through it, but as you say what you got to say before we get out of here.
Hey, everybody. Hey, listen, I'm a little under the weather. I might sound a little bit crazy, but hey, just have good humanities.
Humanities.
I'm not gonna beat it. I'm not gonna go too hard today, but have good humanities. Love thy neighbor. Take care of each other.
Yes, sir.
Please.
No, sir.
Thank
Yes,
you.
ma'am. No,
Yes,
ma'am.
sir. No. Yes, sir. No, sir. Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. Please and fucking thank you. Okay. You guys have a great one.
For the 2-time Super Bowl champ. Brandon Jacobs, I'm Rich Quinones. Appreciate you guys keeping us locked into 27 and Q. We'll do it again tomorrow.